All right, hey, how's it going? Welcome back. Sorry I've been out. I took a break. I was feeling pretty down about my channel because it sucks. It just I feel like I'm doing really well, but like it's not going anywhere. But here I am anyways, making my best efforts. Anyways, if you want to help me feel better about it, please subscribe. Please like this video. Please comment below. I could take a good comment or two. Anyways, I don't know if you guys remember Stephen Miller's wife, fucking Katie Miller. Basically, he turned her into him because she talks like him, or she looks like him, she has the same face, and she whines like him, and it's like, it's really, really weird. But I don't know if you guys noticed this. When she did her, hi, I'm coming out with a podcast video. Check this out. Look at this. Did you guys notice this? Look at this.
Conservative women to gather online.
She got her goddamn high heels, sitting Indian style like that.
And a wife, and trying to do a career, eat healthy,
what in tarnations?
There isn't a place for a mom like
Is that even comfortable?
And so I wanted to create.
She is a bizarre girl, man.
Conversations with people across.
Anyways, let's get to it. Sorry, that was just, yeah, it was just weird. It's not that weird.
I don't think it's Marjorie Taylor Greene's fault that she thought that Trump was an isolationist.
No, actually,
I think part of the problem
to start anything with Marjorie Taylor Greene is
that Trump's America First vision for politics is whatever Trump wants.
No,
and all of those other people, but Scott, there are isolationists in the MAGA tent. What happens to them? Do they just go away? Do they just go away?
Look, here's the deal. A lot of people tried to ascribe their own personal views to Trump, and they tried to,
he felt so
influence him into their own personal views or make their personal views stick to him. He has actually, on the issue of Iran, shown extreme moral clarity about this for decades. He has always said they cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. In his first term, he fired cruise missiles into Syria. We took out Soleimani. Trump has never been an isolationist, and anybody walking around in 2025 who thinks that he is being willfully blind or just stupid. He has been for smart engagement. He's not for adventurism, but he's been for...
He just called you guys blind and stupid.
smart engagement since he came on the national scene.
Steve Bannon said to Axios, Trump knows his movement's base better than anyone, but a lot of his base feels that he's spending too much time on Palestine and not enough on East Palestine, Ohio.
So listen, the fact is that Donald Trump doesn't have politics, and I'm tired of people ascribing a politic to Donald Trump.
Thank you, Bakari.
He has interests, and most of those interests revolve around himself. And I think people realize that Donald Trump is very transactional, and at the end of the day, the transactions that Donald Trump makes usually benefit in some way his worldview, himself, his family, his politics. That's first and foremost. And the thing that bothers me the most is that people think, for example, that MAGA, I know you mentioned Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. MAGA's like, it's Ticketmaster.
The two pansies.
It's non-transferable. If J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio think they're about to inherit the MAGA base, there's nothing about J.D. Vance. And let me put a bow on this. One more thing. Because what they don't realize is that even a part of this MAGA base, the fact that we're even mentioning Nick Fuentes, he's 4'11", he's misogynistic, and he's anti-Semitic, but yet he is somebody who has the pulse of the Republican base right now. They need to excise him.
That's absolutely
Nick
false.
does not have the pulse of the Republican base. It's what Democrats want to say, to divide the Republican base.
Yes, he does. What are they talking about? He's one of like the it guys right now for you guys. What the? Oh my God.
That isn't true. But I want to go back to something really quick.
Tucker Carlson was just bowing in front of him.
Tucker Carlson hosted him on his show. He did not bow, nor did he kneel.
But you mentioned J.D. Vance, and he also did not denounce Tucker for
Wait. Bakari laughed too because she took it literal. God, she's just as dumb as her husband.
Correct.
Nick Fuentes.
What are we talking about?
So what does it say that Vance didn't feel like part of what if he wants to lead the Republican Party, part of what he has to do is to police the boundaries of what's acceptable and what's not, and not say, hey, Tucker, unacceptable. Don't do that.
It's not up to you or myself to police speech in our country.
Shouldn't it be up to J.D. Vance to say this is not part of our movement?
Are you okay? Are you okay with Nick Fuentes?
Here we go. I'm a Jew. Do you want to go there? And let's say this.
Yeah, I just asked the question. Was yes or no?
Yes, I'm okay.
Are you okay with Nick
Fuentes?
I'm going to start saying that. Here we go. I'm a Jew. Do you want to go there? Do you want to go there? Hey, here we go. I'm a girl. Do you want to go there? And remember, these people, You guys, you MAGA people, you can't answer questions. What's the point asking them a question? You guys cannot answer yes or no. You guys cannot answer a question. Watch. She won't be able to
speak freely in our country. He has every right to do so. Do I agree with his views? Do I think that they should become
I just asked a yes or no question.
Absolutely not.
But hold on.
I really want to go back to this for 1 second.
But this isn't about whether he can speak freely. It's about whether someone like Tucker Carlson, who is a very powerful force in the conservative movement.
You host people on your show all the time who call my husband and myself a Nazi. So how is that any different from Tucker Carlson going on? Nick Fuentes having Tucker Carlson on his show? It's not different.
He's actually
He's anti-Semitic.
A Hitler admirer. Nick Fuentes is actually a Hitler
admirer. But he literally
admirer.
is not a good
That is a different thing.
Excuse me. You have Jennifer Welch on your show very often, and you've never pushed back as she has called my husband a white nationalist.
Shout out to my girl Jennifer Welch.
It is no different than Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's show. It's not, and you should admit it.
Well, hold on. How is it anything similar? It's not remotely similar at all. Nick Fuentes sits around and says that he likes Hitler. How is that similar?
What does Katie have to do with it? What does she have to do with it? She has nothing to do with it.
Oh, here comes the other little girl.
Katie is the person who just said to me that it is comparable to say that Nick Fuentes, who is literally...
Oh my God, Scott. What does she got to do with it? What the hell? You were just sitting right there. You fucking heard the whole thing. Katie asked Abby, what are you badgering Abby about? Fucking Katie brought it up. I mean, you grasping for straws.
A neo-Nazi is the same as somebody, a liberal who has an opinion who is not a neo-Nazi. They are not
a hateful opinion.
The same.
How do you want? Excuse me. Let's go back to the point one more time.
But
Nick
Katie,
Fuentes can
a hateful opinion, a loving opinion, a down opinion, an up opinion, a feline opinion, a canine opinion, a female opinion, a male opinion. What the fuck does it matter? What the hell is that all about? Hateful or not, it's still a goddamn opinion.
That's an opinion on Tucker Carlson's show.
It is not the same thing.
And he didn't push back the same way you didn't push back when someone called someone in my
family.
Hold on a
second.
It's not.
If someone comes on this show and says, I love Hitler and I admire what he did, they would never, first of all, I would never invite them on the show and they would never be invited back. So those two things are not the same thing.
But yet you've gone on Jennifer Welch's podcast. It's the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
What I find so,
but Katie, but hold on, Katie.
No, we can
do you believe that Jennifer Welch has a right to say something negative about your husband?
The same way Nick Fuentes has the right to say what he wants to say.
So you think?
Just love Jennifer Welch's name is like music to my ears, but also, yes, bitch, Jennifer Welch has the right to say anything she goddamn well pleases. Let me tell you, she's definitely earned her keep there.
So those two things are not the same thing.
But yet you've gone on Jennifer Welch's podcast. It's the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
What I find so,
but Katie, but hold on, Katie. Do you believe that Jennifer Welch has a right to say something negative about your husband?
The same way Nick Fuentes has the right to say what he wants to say.
So you think that it's okay? Hold on. Do you think it is okay for Jennifer Welch? Is she allowed to say something negative about your husband?
Absolutely, and it's your job as a moderator then to push back.
So that's the first thing.
It's the same way you're asking Tucker Carlson to push back against Nick Fuentes.
But hold on, Nick Fuentes.
Is it not different?
Nick Fuentes is espousing. He's not describing someone else as a Nazi. He is saying, I admire Nazis. You don't think that's a different thing?
Do you believe my husband's a Nazi? You allow someone on your show to say it.
Do you think those things are different or not?
I don't think anybody around me. Equitable comparison for Nick Fuentes to go on Tucker Carlson's show as you to have people to have on your show.
You are making a comparison of two things that are not in any way the same. I acknowledge that and listen, when
it's
people
happened more than once, Abby.
But hold on.
At one point, it's a common occurrence.
When people say their opinions, I don't endorse them. But I also am not responsible for their opinions.
So doesn't that apply to Tucker Carlson?
That is different from a person themselves describing themselves as a hate monger.
Is Tucker Carlson responsible for Nick Fuentes' opinions?
But hold on a second. I am also not a Republican Party official or a Democrat Party official.
Neither is
and
Tucker
so I'm
Carlson.
asking you about you as a Republican and who you think is the leader of your party, right?
And
I'm asking your opinion. Your opinion, okay? If you think that J.D. Vance is that person, do you think that he should be sitting at a table and nodding along with Nick Fuentes? Yes or no?
I don't believe J.D. Vance has ever sat and nodded along with Nick Fuentes.
Do you think that Tucker Carlson? Do you think it is okay for J.D. Vance to think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to sit and nod along with?
I think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to have Nick Fuentes on the show the same way you have people on your show who espouse similar views.
That's all I asked you. And we can just leave it at that. Because at the end of the day, that is what the Republican Party has to decide. Do they care whether or not someone who has a loud voice in their party is bringing on somebody who is encouraging neo-Nazism?
Wait,
and if you think that is
okay,
wait, if you think that's okay, let's go back to the murder of Charlie Kirk. Let's go back to the murder of Fort Willis. Should we?
We have to leave it at that.
Okay. First things first, I want to get this out of the way. It started out talking about MTG. So I want to show a clip of Scott Galloway explaining MTG just perfect. So you know, that's one of his main skills is communicating things, explaining things really well. And he's about to explain MTG.
Adulation, whitewashing
Amen.
of one of the most vile people to ever walk the halls of Congress, and that is Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that we're so desperate for anything reasonable out of the Republican Party that doesn't feel like enablement, then when she says, and I think she has been a leader on the Epstein files, she deserves credit for that, but when she says, I can't be a part of this, it's like, well, let me get this. Did the DOJ wake you up at 4 a.m. and raid your house like they did with National Security Advisor Bolton? Has the DOJ been weaponized against you illegally as they're doing with Senator Schiff, but you just can't take it anymore? Let's just quickly take a little walk down memory lane of Marjorie Taylor Greene. She started her career by purchasing her father's general contracting company. After stepping down, she became a CrossFit coach.
That's an even dykier move.
In 2017, she began writing for American Truth Seekers, a conspiracy news site. In 2020, she ran on MAGA positions like gun rights, anti-vax, and anti-masking policies, and isolationism. Once in Congress, MTG quickly became a national figure due to her inflammatory positions in social media posts.
Literally.
She has shown support for QAnon conspiracy theory. She endorsed the theory that Sandy Hook and other shootings were fake, that she harassed and verbally abused some of the survivors of the Parkland shooting, them calling them crisis actors. She has endorsed using violence against Democrats. She agreed with multiple 9/11 conspiracies, including the theory that the attacks were orchestrated by the U.S. government. She claimed that Obama was a Muslim attempting to open the borders up to a Muslim invasion. She said that Representatives Omar and other representatives of the Muslim faith were not actually Congresspeople because they took their oath on the Quran, not the Bible. Oh, and that the fires were caused, she didn't say Jewish space lasers. She said space lasers connected to the Rothschilds, which is a trope for anti-Semitic behavior. And meanwhile, she has made reportedly $24 million trading on non-public information, including buying Palantir 3 days before. 3 days before the committee she sits on announced a $30 million government contract with Palantir. So in sum, good fucking riddance.
Seriously.
This is, and we're so desperate for anything resembling integrity or pushback that we laud Marjorie Taylor Greene.
The first part of that list, probably.
She is, I hope, and the notion somehow that, you know, she did this for character integrity. Someone told her she was going to lose, and she's trying to figure out a way to reemerge. She's the problem, not the hero. And it just drives me insane that people are so drawn. We're so desperate for someone to say, oh, this is a bad idea, or I don't agree.
And you know what? I do believe that some of it is authentic. Like, well, obviously some of it is real because it's very easy to feel for things. But it's like, okay, well, it's been here the whole time. Why didn't you care? Why were you bitch this whole time? Why were you bitch before this? You could have just cared because it's these problems and stuff have been here to care about. But did you just decide now because it's convenient for you? Fuck off. Fuck MTG. Nothing she does is going to erase her super shitty, horrible, just awful past. Just the worst decisions I've ever heard. Fucking Nancy Mace, I got a bone to pick with her too. She's one of the worst human beings ever. But okay, all right, so back to Katie Miller, the high heels on the couch lady. She's like, what's the difference between Nick Fuentes and Jennifer Welch? Well, bitch, why don't you tell me? I'm gonna show you, and you tell me. Here is Jennifer. We'll do Jennifer Welch first.
What do you do when the racists are in charge? Like they are now.
This is what
I'm like, Stephen Miller is a white supremacist. I mean, he is, and he's basically running the White House. They keep Trump busy with his decorating projects. He's got building the arch now. He's got his Oval Office design. And then you have these real sociopaths that are real anti-Semites, true white supremacists like Stephen Miller. And even though he's Jewish, he's like a Nazi Jew.
Well, look, I can't speak to what Stephen Miller's motivations are. I've met him. I've talked to him. I've interviewed him.
How tall is he?
Yeah, we're dying to know.
Oh God, I can't remember that.
Short?
I truly cannot remember. I am short, so my understanding of people's height is not great. And I do think that you have to understand what motivates the people who are in power. If people are in power, you got to understand what their ideology is.
I'm going to clear Abby's name up here.
But I listen very carefully to what Stephen Miller says.
See, she didn't even say anything bad about her husband. She said, "Hey, I can't speak for him," and then she said, "I actually listen really well to him." What are you talking about, Katie? What are you nitpicking at? Because Jennifer Welch said the same thing that your husband has said, that he's a whatever Nazi and shit. Let's listen to.
My parents were very progressive, very anti-racist. I'm very fortunate to have grown up in the place that I grew up in, that they were so progressive, because that's not the norm.
No.
We grew up around a lot of racists.
Still.
And players. Within the first 48 hours, I think they'd been called the N-word by all of their rural town friends at least 24 or 30 times. And that didn't happen in the 80s. Like that didn't, I didn't hear that kind of, I knew that some people were racist, but not like that. I feel like there's such an uptick of it. And I feel like people like Angie and me are good allies and credible messengers to speak for and with the Black community, that our lives are inherently better. Everybody's lives are better when we learn how to live comfortably and grow in multiculturalism.
Yeah.
Because white people stuff, all white people, Abby, I'm just going to tell you, it's fucking boring. We don't have cookouts. we don't have any fucking thing like that. It is Lee Greenwald snooze fest. It's just all white culture.
Okay. Now let's hear Nick Fuentes. Let's hear if he talks that lovingly. Okay.
Simple yes or no answer. Hitler, good guy, bad guy?
That's a top. Well, there are no good and bad guys. They're just people.
That's not true, dude.
It is true.
I mean, so if you had to check one box.
I'm going to say I'm neutral on that. I'm abstaining from that.
There's no neutral.
You're saying that Hitler was not a bad guy?
I think that, it's
But then you're questioning why people may not want you talking? I'm giving you a platform.
Look, if we're going to say Hitler bad, then I'm going to say Churchill bad, and I'm going to say Roosevelt bad, and I'm going to say they're all bad. But if we look at him as a product of his time in that moment, we have to judge him with those things in mind. That's all.
And also, is Nick Fuentes a Libra? Because he's so indecisive. Hey, Google, when is Nick Fuentes' birthday?
Nicholas J. Fuentes was born on August 18th, 1998.
He's not a Libra. 1998. Holy shit, that's crazy. I was born in the early 80s. So like, what? I thought he was my age. Anyways, okay. And now let's see a little bit of his personality. And this is the famous clip of his, and I hate it. I mean, I'm sure everybody
You're totally
does,
not pressed.
Like,
The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies.
Like,
Guess what? Fuck? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never.
You can't tell the difference between this and Jennifer Welch. Really? Do you need more help than that? One is harmful. He has bad intentions. He loves people who have done horrible things to humanity. And the other is Jennifer Welch, who advocates for us all. She does a whole lot. She speaks out loud she's just trying to unite us, and she's very loving, her and Angie both. So what the fuck are you talking about, Katie? With your fucking, you and your husband, fucking limp dick eyes. You guys have those little limp dick eyes. It's like you're soulless in there. Get a grip. Get the freaking net, lady. Seriously? The difference is no one wants to associate with Nick Fuentes because of the obvious. It's okay for, and you know what? Again, Abby didn't do anything wrong. You're fucking blaming her for nothing. Okay, now let's go into little Millie Mills. Millie Mills, is your wife with Elon? Is that happening still? Why do you hate yourself so much? You make us ill. That's my own song. I believe this was 5 years ago. And let's let Rachel Maddow take away.
In other emails, Stephen Miller repeatedly praises President Calvin Coolidge. Not because he likes Coolidge, like, generally as a president. No, Stephen Miller likes Calvin Coolidge specifically for signing a radically restrictionist anti-immigration law in the 1920s, a law that was heavily influenced by the eugenics movement of the time, based on the idea that the gene pool has to be cleansed of the bad types of genes by deliberately controlling breeding. Calvin Coolidge himself embraced the bogus, racist, pseudoscientific argument that immigrants from the eastern part of the world, in particular, in his thinking even from Eastern Europe, were genetically inferior to immigrants from more Western parts of the world. I mean, Calvin Coolidge signed this law that severely limited the number of Jews and Italians and Greeks and Eastern Europeans who would be allowed into this country on the basis of their supposedly genetic inferiority.
Katie Miller over here. Why don't we hear from
close to Stephen Miller? He's your nephew, but you haven't spoken to him really in 10 years. And before that, you said you didn't even know him well. Yet, you are his uncle. And for you, was it hard to come to the point to go so public with criticism like this?
Of course. It's, I write this more in sadness than in anger.
God, I wish Stephen Miller was never born.
I've spent my life trying to help people. I've been working in clinical neuroscience for my entire career. I've spent my life trying to help diagnose people and help them get well. I have not been interested in having public notoriety. I've been interested in having my private life and taking care of those things which are important to me. But as I say, I felt it was incumbent upon me to raise my voice, to let people know that this is a country of immigrants, and our family were immigrants. In fact, we were refugees. If my ancestors had not immigrated to the United States when they did, if they'd waited a few more years till 1924, the door would have been shut. My parents would have gone up the crematoria chimney. I wouldn't have been born, my sister wouldn't have been born, and certainly Stephen would never have existed.
Look, we're a nation of immigrants, and your story, your family story, is in some ways the American story. It changes from generation to generation in some ways.
Just in the last day or two, I've received over 100 emails and messages from people that I know and that I don't know, who are telling me your story is the same as ours.
Wouldn't that have been so nice? I mean, it would have been stuff with his grandma or whatever, but
of similar background.
All right, and then the last thing I want to show.
V. Dare is named after Virginia Dare, who was reportedly the first English child, the first white person born in the New World in the 1580s.
I guess it's
the
just
romanticized folklore about this first white person in the Americas, this Virginia Dare folklore, has become kind of a point of worship among American white supremacists and white nationalists. The founder of V-Dare has called immigration policy in the United States, quote, Adolf Hitler's posthumous revenge on America. As in, Hitler is inflicting immigrants on America from beyond the grave. Yeah, Hitler's dead, sure, but he's winning his Nazi race war against us because people still immigrate to America, and obviously that's terrible. The founding ethos of V-Dare is that the United States is explicitly a white nation. Quote, the racial identity of America is legitimate and defensible. Diversity per se is not strength, but a vulnerability. It's their mission statement. That's V-Dare. And that email where Stephen Miller flags and sends along that article from V-Dare is something worth paying attention to because of what he expects to be a secret plot by Barack Obama to import Mexicans to America. I mean, that was sent by Stephen Miller when he was a staffer working in the U.S. Senate, working for then Alabama Republican Senator Jeff Sessions. Ultimately, of course, both Sessions and Stephen Miller would go to work for Donald Trump. And the V-Dare thing to the reporter, that's just one in a big stack of Stephen Miller's emails from that time period, emails that were obtained and published last month by the Southern Poverty Law Center. In total, what those emails show is that that one email was, not a copy and paste error. It wasn't something that stood out from Stephen Miller's usual correspondence. That's kind of the guy he at least was at the time. I mean, here's another email that Stephen Miller sent in 2015. Quote, did you see the Pope saying that the West must, in effect, get rid of borders? Someone should point out the parallels to Camp of the Saints. Sending this along to a reporter. Wow. What's Camp of the Saints? It's a grotesquely racist book that spins out this race fantasy plot where terrible, basically satanic immigrants from India invade France and violently overthrow white society in France. It's ridiculous. It's notorious. It is a popular read among white nationalists because this is their fantasy of white genocide. This fantasy that white people and other people can't coexist. It's a fight to the death, and white people must wage war on everyone who's not white or they'll go extinct. That's Camp of the Saints. Stephen Miller wants this real-world development to be reported alongside its parallels to the plot of Camp of the Saints. In other emails, Stephen Miller repeatedly praises President.
And that is how the cookie crumbles. Okay, do you still need help, Katie Miller? Are you still deciphering what nice is and what nice isn't? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Sorry that it took me a while to come out with video, but I'm back. I'm on the rag and I'm ovulating, and thank you so much. I'll see you next episode.